Welcome to Spoken Reviews, home of the Spoken Reviews. Today, guys, we'll be taking our standard range Ford Mach on a 270-mile road trip for Christmas 2024 down from the DFW area to Houston, Texas. Should be a fun trip. All right, guys, it is unfortunate that it's raining pretty hard. We did wait a little bit for the bigger storms to pass because there were some reports of hail and some small tornadoes. We wanted to avoid that, so we did start off the trip later than we wanted to, but we did start with 100% battery. Now, I will note that throughout this trip, I used both the Apple Maps EV and also the OEM Ford map. I will note that Apple was basically suggesting that we make 2 stops on the way to Houston versus the Ford was saying, hey, you guys can make it in 1 stop. Of course, that's what we were aiming for, to make it in 1 stop, again, to save time, especially with small kids, and it's a holiday season. Want to get down there, want to spend time with family, don't want to necessarily be sitting there charging, right? So again, a little bit different because in the Cybertruck, I can make it all without stopping. In the Ford, I do have to stop. That's okay, because we're going to document it and have fun. Again, I'll say that the Mach itself was working really great. Really enjoyed the ride. Super smooth. I did let their Ford kind of autopilot thing expire, so now I'm just using the basic version, but it still works really good. It keeps you in the lane, it keeps the distance. It does everything except do the lane changing, which is I'm okay with, right? So this is a really good, I'd say, advanced, just cruise control. Again, trip is going really good. As you can see here, we're in Waco, about to make our turn. And again, with the Model 3 and the Model Y, typically I would be stopping in Waco to charge up a little bit and then continuing on the trip. But in the Mach, really wanted to kind of test the range. So I figured, hey, if I can make it I think it's 140 miles, 150 miles, all the way to Hearne, Texas, where there's a Shell recharge, it's even better because, one, I'm going further on the power from home, which is super cheap. And 2, I really get to see what the range is. Now, I will say that depending on the weather is really going to change things. So this 2024 does not have a heat pump, but the 2025 does. So whenever I do have to use the heat, I do burn a lot, significantly more energy, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Whenever you're driving in the wintertime and it's cold enough to use the actual heat, it's going to significantly impact your range. As you guys can see, not a big impact because the weather here is kind of super mild. So I'm just having, air flow at a regular temperature, not really trying to warm it up. But on the way back, it's significantly colder. And I get to a point where it's like, all right, do we go for range or do we warm up the vehicle? Which is never a fun thing to do. So definitely, if you have the ability to wait for the 2025 with the heat pump, go for that. Again, any EV with a heat pump is going to be significantly better just because it's going to be better. Here's the Shell recharge again. We stopped at in Hearne, Texas. Pretty good. Super expensive, and we'll talk about the actual cost. And it is expensive. Can't deny that, but it's consistent and it works. Versus some of the other networks, they're not consistent. Also, this is a max at 180. But the Ford Mach max at 150, so I'm not really losing anything here. But if you have like a GM or another EV that can go at a faster speed, like a Porsche, something like that, this definitely will be slowing you down, or a Kia, right? Those all charge at like 250, 350, versus the Ford Mach has a very it has a lot of room to improve in the charge speed. So needless to say, we made it out of there spending about $36, and we are back on the road. At this point, we have about 100 miles left to get to home, which is awesome because we have good enough battery. And I know that what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into a wall plug overnight once I get to our parents' house. And then I can probably get about 20% battery over like a 12-hour to 16-hour overnight stint, right? So that's going to work out just fine for us. And if I need to charge again, there's another Shell recharge in Katy, Texas. There's a Tesla charger that lets non-Teslas on, and there's Electrify America. So a lot of options once I get to the Houston area. Again, trip is awesome. I'm at no point am I like holding back speed for conservation. I am just going with flow traffic safely. I like to kind of stay in the right lane. I like to go as fast as the right lane will let me go, and then I will get over on occasion to pass. Overall, made it there, 271 miles, which is awesome for a standard range vehicle. Also on a very busy time. like Christmas season is, right? So these are the busiest times, Christmas and Thanksgiving, for the EV network. So I was able to do this seamlessly with no issues, no interruptions, which is awesome. Really, really enjoy the vehicle, as you guys can see. Just the stats there, right? So again, love the Ford Mach-E. Great road trip. Thanks you guys for watching. Like and subscribe.